be walking, some landmarks, and he actually said he wasn't sure which order they were going to be in. There's very little for Aberdaron, apart from Aberdaron. So I've called this in no particular order. Right, we are taking the long walk home again. Once more we'll be north of the border. Even though Steve has provided the details, they were in no particular order. There will be 14 residing in Felinheli, I think that's how you pronounce it, in a marina that's equipped for 8. Guest house accommodation for the others, yet we'll all be meeting up to relate. We've already walked for prostate cancer, for Huntington's and for MS. For the British Heart Foundation, we'll now be walking for Parkinson's, no less. We'll be making a return to Conwy, walking Penryn Mawr and the Victoria Dock. It's best to ignore Steve's estimated mileage, just as well we're not governed by the clock. We walked Dinistynol and Anferfechen to Bangor, Trefor and past the Menai Bridge. We'll tackle Afil, translated a big hill. We shouldn't be surprised if Les is first on the ridge. We should also walk via Carnarvon Castle, the Forest Nature Reserve and Glenelg Fawr. And after the various sewage works we pass, we'll all be in need of a shower. On heading back to Nant Gwyrddon, the Gardford Inn should be fairly near, a respite whereby we can relax and reflect, Chris, over a soft drink, a wine or a beer. Eventually, 8 of us will arrive in Aberdaron, the Llyn Peninsula, for a couple of nights, whereby Ian will be taking more photos in order to capture even more stunning sights. Until then, there will be 14 around the table. On a Wednesday, when we all eat, we'll probably have to move the furniture around to ensure that everyone has a seat. As always, we have to thank Steve and Anne for providing this wonderful booking. Honest John and Decaf Cough for the extra table and the wonderful cooking. Honest John for his signature curry, Decaf Cough for a tiramisu, even though we haven't eaten it yet. As always, quality food for our enjoyment. It's always a pleasure to stand in a queue, which we did here. Whenever everyone gets together, we can always rely on Jean. She's always so cool, so calm and collected. And she's always essential in any scene. Janet and Ian are now firmly established. They are integral to this happy throng. They've both been clocking up the miles, yet the road we're all walking on is still very long. Don't we know it today? Yeah. Simon will always come up with ideas, with new merchandise, and the Welsh cakes he'll bake. Just think if we sold them on eBay, the extra money for our charity we'd make. Leslie, our treasurer, is doing a sterling job. Though keeping a balance can be a drag, yet we're all indebted to a commitment, payment by bank transfer or brown paper bag. I can fall off this in a minute. Hey Jude. Hey Jude. She'll never let us down. She'll prefer a nice wine to a beer. Just keep her away from the dishwasher. She'd be inclined to jump in and disappear. Crawford, the salted caramel kid. He'll converse over a couple of beers. Yeah, how can we take him seriously when he's wearing the rabbit ears? Chris is always on hand to transport us. Yeah, he'll always be chasing the birds. If he catches the elusive worm, then he's bound to be lost for words. In Aberdaron, Anne will provide most of the transport. She'll ferry us from the A's to the B's. Let's just hope that this time around that she doesn't mislay her car keys. Order in particular, no. Did you see what I did there?
No.
Order in particular, no, in no particular order. Order in particular, no. I've got to explain things. Order in particular, no, as the details were sent. By Steve, who'd been eating peanuts all the while. We walkers are now over halfway there, and we will continue our walking in style. As for Ian, see, I just thought I'd forgotten you wherever he is. Okay. You sat there. As for Ian, he will capture the moments. As his camera will always invest, his photos have created our history because he's consistent and he takes some of the best. Just during this week in North Wales, creating fond memories for us all to share. St Julian's, we salute you. We all know because we were there.